Special thanks to our witnesses for being here today and for allowing us to discuss the Air Force's Projection Forces program. The insights that you provide to our committee will be invaluable as we make our decisions on policy and on budgets. Today, I'm eager to delve into discussions on how the President's fiscal year 2025 budget will affect our operational readiness, especially as it relates to China and Russia, how it will impact our local defense industrial base, and how it will ensure the Air Force's continued dominance in the skies. Mr. Hunter, good to be here. Good to see you here, sir. You're the Air Force's top civilian for acquisition, technology, and logistics. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Excellent. Given your position and expertise, how will the Air Force's focus on competition with China and Russia impact its procurement of bombers, tankers, and airlift capabilities, sir?
Well, all of those capabilities are central to our ability to perform our missions in the Indo-Pacific region, so they are highly prioritized. We are working the acquisition community closely with our operational community. That's one of the key insights of the operational imperatives work that we did last year, that we are seeking to make a permanent part of our process as part of reoptimizing for great power competition. We're working very closely with the parts of the Air Force staff that are working on our force design, and they are, in effect, developing the concept for a new integrated capabilities command that will help ensure that we appropriately prioritize our requirements for that part of our force, that we do the right modernization and upgrades, and that we field the right systems in the future for air refueling and for airlift. And so we are working very closely with that community on the stand-up of the Integrated Capabilities Command to have a complementary set of organizations within Air Force Materiel Command to support that work, and then ultimately to build the systems that will fill out that part of our force design. And I know, General, if you want to speak to that as well.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Hunter, and thank you for the question, Mr. LaLota. So from the programmatic perspective, I would say all of these things are of great importance to the fight on China, as you have rightly pointed out. They sit, though, in balance with all of the other capabilities that it takes to prosecute war against a peer competitor. And so we have a lot of analysis in the past 2 years that lets us move beyond a discussion of platforms to a discussion of end-to-end creation of effects. And we can see clearly where we have advantage and where we don't. And so where we've placed our investment in this budget cycle is in the places where we may not have the best advantage, and we have not sought to over-invest in places where we already gain an advantage. So all things in balance and all things along an entire chain of activities that allow us to create effects.
Thank you. And General, I'm going to stick with you on this. My understanding is that you spearhead much of the Air Force's plans and programs. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And does your portfolio include the Air Force's LC-130?
It does.
Thinking about Russia and China specifically, I'm concerned because the United States relies solely, as I understand it, on the LC-130s operated by the New York Air National Guard and their unique ability for transporting personnel, equipment, and supplies to remote locations in the polar regions. And to accomplish this, I understand the LC-130s are specifically modified to operate in extreme cold and snow-covered environments. There are ski sleds, from what I understand, on these aircraft, making them the only large strategic aircraft capable of landing on ice and snow year-round in the world. So thinking about that part of the world and what that might be used for in strategic competition, at least with China and Russia, but certainly when kinetic operations, I'm worried about an over-reliance on the LC-130 while concurrently that fleet is being allowed to deteriorate. So I was wondering if you can comment, General, how does that current deterioration of the LC-130 fleet comport with our nation's strategic focus on conflict, possibly with China and Russia, knowing that that conflict may extend to where this LC-130 is used mostly?
Yes, sir. So it's a great question. Not to mince words, but I think they do matter. The LC-130 is aging, as is the rest of our fleet. 44% of the Air Force's fleets are past their design life, and the average age of our fighter fleet is nearly 30 years. I don't believe that the LC-130 fleet is deteriorating. Aging, I would think that that's reasonable. I don't believe that that fleet is deteriorating. In fact, there's been a substantial investment, thanks to the committees, in new engine mods, new propellers to give them more ability to function, particularly in the ice mission. So I think there also is an upgrade, by the way, for new skis or modified skis to keep the airplanes relevant and to keep them current. They have something like 15, 20 years of life left in them. So we have, thank you to the committee for a small amount of money to start an analysis of alternatives to look at what the replacement may be, but we don't view this as an urgent or emergent requirement. The aircraft, as I mentioned, are aging, but they are aging gracefully along with the rest of our fleets, and all things in balance, as I mentioned, this is not a place where we would view the need for urgent investment, but we are conducting an analysis of alternatives to see what it is that might be able to come next.
General, we'd appreciate if good, smart, strategic folks like you continue to keep your eye on it. Understand it's not urgent right now, but my experience in this town specifically is we should plan a little more ahead. And if 10 or 15 years is your horizon, that's good news. But I hope that you, your predecessor, and his or her predecessor does anticipate that need in time.
Yes, sir.
Great. I yield, Chairman.